everybody on Amazon Live. I am sort of dual streaming here, so I've got some Instagram Live folks that are on. So glad you guys are here. And I also, obviously, am here on Amazon Live. So today I am talking about some of my personal favorites for how I organize my kids' documents, paperwork, stuff that comes in and out of the house. So if you want to jump over, for my Instagram friends, if you guys want to jump over onto Amazon, X out of the live, and then go to stories, and you can come join me on the actual Amazon Live where I can respond to your comments. But either way, I hope that the information will be helpful. This is kind of like some mom hack stuff. We're not doing car seat stuff today. So I'm Michelle with Safe in the Seat for my Amazon friends that are here. I would love it if you would follow along. I'm going to be doing a ton more mom hack type content this year. I can't talk about car seats all the time. I just can't. Nobody can. Of course, there will still be a ton of car seat content, but I'm going to be sprinkling in all my mom hack stuff because my friends on Instagram tend to really like those things too, and a lot of organization. So as you're joining, make sure you come on Amazon Live tonight at 8 p.m. I'm going to be in my jammies streaming from my bathroom. And if you're watching the replay of this, you'll be able to link to that live as well. So let me talk to you a little bit about storage, like paperwork storage, document storage. Let's start with a label maker. Everybody has a label maker, right? So drop me a thumbs up emoji if you have a label maker in your home. I feel like this is just a must have. So I have the one that you can see here in our little product stream. It is handheld, super easy. It even has this wall mount thing. You can stick it up on the wall if you want to be able to access it at all times. But a label maker we use in my house all the time. My kids now, I just actually went outside the other day and there was in our cabinet of, speaking of organization, I have to organize the outside cabinet at some point. I noticed that Jake, my son, had put on there baseball bat, soccer, he got the label maker and put things where he wanted them to go in the outdoor cabinet. Nobody's following that, but he did it anyway. So if you don't have a label maker, this is the one that I personally use. I really like it. It's got all the basic things. It's literally, you take it out of the very difficult packaging to take it out of, and then you put some batteries in, and it gives you 3 different tapes that you can, reload in here. Different font sizes, the basic stuff that you need to label your things. So I wanted to make sure to include a label maker in this document storage, keepsake storage live, because if you don't have one, you gotta have one. It looks like Nicole, Rachel, Jacqueline, Kelsey, Allie, you guys all have label makers. Hello to my Instagram friends. I'm on Amazon Live right now if you want to come over and join. We would love to have you. I can answer your comments over here. Okay, so label maker, we seem pretty good to go. All right, let's get into the meat and bones of this. I'm actually going to tell you first about what do I do with the stuff that comes into my house on a daily basis. So do you have school-aged kids? So either preschool or school-aged. Let me know in the comments below. How about a smiley face for this one? So if you have school-aged kids, I would love to know about it. If you do, and they're going to school outside of your home, and even if you're homeschooling, you know that they come with a ton of papers. Every day you're getting tons of stuff that's coming home. Now, what I can tell you, my son is in 3rd grade. It does lessen up a little bit as they get into the older years. But if you've got kids in that preschool, early elementary school years, you're getting stuff sent home constantly. And then sometimes on Fridays, you're getting a big load of stuff. So here's what I do. This little acrylic bin that is, I can't read what percentage off that is. What percentage off is that? Can anybody tell what that is? Yes, Jacqueline, so many papers. Kelsey, starting next year, how fun. Okay, so you can see my ring lights that I have up here. So this little acrylic bin, I like it because it still looks pretty nice. It sits in the front part of my house where we kind of come in, kids hang up their backpacks. Now that they're a little bit older, I give them a little bit more responsibility in what they have to load and unload. But let me tell you what I put in here. So obviously from a product standpoint, you can get this little acrylic thing. You can get the hanging file folders. They're the same ones that I use throughout the house for the other systems I'm going to show you. And then I use these white, the white actual, these are called file folders. These are just called folders. whatever they are. I use these folders. I like to get one set of things and be able to use it in as many places as possible in the house, so I'm not buying a ton of products, and so things match and kind of look nice. I mean, I can't help it. Okay, so here's what's in here. My kids are with their dad right now, so this is empty, okay? But when they come back to me this week, this will be in active use. Plus, we just finished break, so it's kind of empty right now. Hello to all my Instagram friends. I'm over on Amazon Live if you guys want to join there too, or you can just listen in to my document and organization hacks. Okay, so I have a this week folder. So if I have things that are like coming up this week, field trips, maybe there's an event happening or something that I need to have a hard copy of something for, it goes in the this week folder. And then after that, I have a soon, which means it's coming up sometime soon. I define that in different ways based on what's happening in our life at different times. But again, like field trips come to mind as something that, okay, I need to remember the details on it. Yes, it's probably on my calendar too, but we have to remember to send the slip of paper in. It goes in the soon file. Depending on timing, that's where those things go. Then I have good old mail. My mom, who may be watching, often gets my mail when she comes over and she dumps it on my counter and it drives me Looney Tunes. So I just created this little spot where so kindly I have someone pick up my mail for me, but she can stick it in here or I can, and then I can review it when I have time. The last two things that I have are gonna address all that stuff that comes in that you don't wanna throw away in front of your kids because they're gonna lose their minds, and kids don't really feel very good when you throw away their hard work in front of them. So what I do is I take, like my daughter has her little folder here. We both look at her folder, we empty it out, we figure out what I have to sign, what has to go back, what's for homework. But then if there are things that just need to be like filed away, those go in here, because I take this at the end of the week, I walk it into my office here, and I'll show you these systems, and I unload and kind of refresh for the next week. So all her paperwork goes here. Do I end up throwing a ton of it out when she's not looking? Yes, I do. But for the week, it just sort of stores up in here, and then I address it at the end of the week. I'll show you what I do with the things that I save from this folder in a minute. Now, obviously, my son has one too. So this is the system that works for us. If you have multiple kids, obviously you can have multiple folders. I do clean it out. Okay, I try to clean it out every week, guys, but am I perfect? Absolutely not. I had to catch up on getting my systems reorganized after the first half of the year. This, because of the size of it, it doesn't give you much of a choice other than to clean it out pretty frequently. So I tend to sort of like that a little bit. It's like accountability just based on the size of this lovely little acrylic thing. This is cute, right? Does anybody have like a system for papers when they come in your house? Does anybody already have that going for them? Oh wait, I gotta look at comments down here because I can't read. Let's see. Oh, we have a kindergartner starting. So many papers. Okay, let's see. Kelsey, are both kids' papers in the same place, or do I separate them? I'll show you why I separate them here in a minute of what I do with them next. All right, so everything that they bring home that they're not taking back to school or isn't obvious trash, that they're okay being trash, goes in here for me to deal with kind of later in the week. All right, or month, or whatever makes sense for you in terms of frequency and how many kids you have and how you're juggling all of the other things. So anybody have any questions about this? Like, this is papers coming into the house that I have to deal with. You may have one of these folders for you. Maybe you have a lot of paperwork that's coming in, you know, and you're just wanting to put it in a safe place until you can get it where it needs to go. So this is something super easy. The products that I'm showing you here are, you know, nice looking, also affordable, and can last you for like years and years and years and years. Having a system, I'm a huge believer in systems in general, because when you have one, you're far more likely to follow it than if you have nothing and papers are schlepped all over your house and in every nook and cranny, and then you never remember what goes where, what needs to be saved, or whatever. So yeah, everything's still on the counter and all the surfaces. My case in point. We've all been there, done that, and this just helps. Doesn't mean it doesn't still happen sometimes, but my kids now are also used to this process, and in 3rd and 1st grade, they're getting more accountable to being a part of this process as well. I'm also a huge believer in teaching executive functioning skills to our kids, which are things like this. How do we put systems in place? How do we think ahead through things so that we are prepared on the other side? So this is one of the ways that we do it for our family. Okay, so let's say we have it's the end of the week. I'm hiding in my office here so they can't see what I'm gonna keep or throw away. Now what I do is I take their folder with their stuff in it, and it's going to go, if it's coming from school, it's going to go in their school file folder, okay? So I just want you to, that I store it right there on that shelf. Can you see it? On Instagram, you can't see it. Hold on. See it over there? It's right over there. And then over here on Amazon, see it's over there on that shelf back there behind my chair. I'm gonna bring it over here so you can see it. That was nice of me to put my hand right in front of the screen. Okay, so this is my son's. Okay, I'll tell you something I learned in this. I used to have a big, like the longer plastic ones and of like the filing boxes. The thing is, if you've got younger kids, you don't need to fill that whole entire plastic bin for like a really long time. And it was taking up a lot of space. I don't have a ton of storage space in my house, so I wanted to downsize the boxes a little bit. Remember that the paper, the volume of stuff that's coming into your house, it will get less as they get older. So really it's the front end, like elementary school. And even like I said, my son is in 3rd grade and things have slowed down. He's not making as many art things, as many handprint things, as many, all the stuff that I wanna save. So his 3rd grade folder right now is like, there's like 2 things in it because I just don't have a lot to save. So you may wanna consider, I really like these, I think Becca's on, I can't reach. Let me see. Let me go. Okay, I really like these boxes. Oh, and they're 30% off right now. They come in a pack of 2. You obviously take them out of the box like it's done. You could just use them as storage, but also they have the ability to hang your little file folders on them. So what I have done, using the same hanging folders and the same folders that I've put in here with my little label maker. If you were on Instagram stories earlier in the week, you saw me share that I was actually revamping this because I just wanted to kind of tidy it up. But I have each of their, so like preschool 1, my kids started going somewhere when they were 1, and it goes all the way up. I went ahead and labeled and got everything ready through 5th grade. So how do I decide what goes in here? I'm ruthless, people. I'm ruthless. So my mom saved probably every single thing that my sister and I did when we were younger. And she showed it to us. Like she gave us this box essentially. I don't know, this was probably a couple years ago. And my sister and I looked at each other like, what in God's name are we gonna do with this stuff? Like, I don't want this scribble that I did when I was 3. This is great, Mom, but thanks. So 2 things. Remember, this box is largely for you. So if you're gonna go back and look at it and have fond memories of what your kids are doing, then save it in here. If there's something that you look at and you're like, this, it like reminds me of a special moment or a memory or when their hands were this little, and that is something that just warms your heart and you want to be able to reference back for years ahead, then put it in there and just know that it's for you. Your 18-plus-year-old kid isn't going to give a crap about seeing that. So keep that in mind. It's for you. If for our kids that are going to care about it later on, think about that perspective too. What's something that as an adult you would like to see from your childhood? This is so random, but somebody shared this with me on Instagram the other day, and I thought it was so sweet. She said a pair of scissors, like, child scissors, that I think it was her dad got for her in 3rd grade. She saved them and she has them hanging up in her like little workspace today. If there are things like that might be nostalgic for your grown kids, those might be something, maybe scissors aren't the thing, but something they wrote or painted or their handprint was on and you think they may want to reference it later in life, that might be something to stick in here. So my son wanted me to save all of his tests from the year. So I've done that for like 2 months. So it went in my little, his stuff from the week went in here. I bring it in here at the end of the week, file his tests away. He's never asked me about it once, and I threw them away. So his folder got like smaller. So all school stuff I keep in here. Again, I like that these bins aren't crazy large, so I can easily, store them on a shelf. For me, that's where they work best because I also want to have access to them. Before, I had them in a closet underneath a bunch of crap, and I couldn't get to them. And so I was saving everything up till the end of the year to go through it, and the project seemed too massive to tackle. So I like the idea of having this system for when things come in the house, kind of a regular system to empty it out. Like I said, weekly, monthly, whatever works best for you, so that at the end of the year, your stuff is done. You're not, you know, you may be playing a little catch up, but you're not playing tons of catch up. So this is so far for my son through 3rd grade. Like he's in the middle of 3rd grade right now. And he did kindergarten twice. So it's like a lot of years. I also put, they get you on yearbooks, guys. Just be prepared for it. I like to remind myself it's a way to support the school. Like who needs it? Did you guys have yearbooks for every year? Did you when you were like in elementary school? Now they want everyone to buy a yearbook, and of course my kids have to have them. So I store those in here as well for them. So that's what's in this kind of school bin. Michelle, you did too? Does anybody have any questions? I'll try to watch the Instagram comments too if I can. It's a little further away, and you know I'm old, so my eyes are struggling to read it. But I can definitely see all of my Amazon friends here. Are there any questions about this kind of storage, the school storage process? Well, I'm waiting to see what comes in. Samantha, I'm coming down here. Yes, but they were paperbacks and super small. Oh, right. Now they're like $50 a piece or something. Like I said, I have to remember it supports the school. It supports the school. All right, so our file folders work right here. Oh, I wanted to show you something on this because I questioned it when I got these little bins. These have like little plastic. I don't know if you guys, can you see this? This is like a little plastic edge that you put on the sides of the bin so that your file folders slide easy peasy. So I love that about these. I don't know if that happens in all of the bins like this, but it does in these. So this just goes back in my, you know, I've got it labeled and it goes right back where it belongs. Okay, I just saw somebody say I struggle with the oversized stuff. Well, I got you. Did I put these on the live? Did they make it here? They did. Okay, check out these bags. These are great. These are art portfolio bags. They're right here. I have one for each of my kids. So like they each got this little graduation, I don't know if you can see that, this little stuffed bear when they graduated from kindergarten. I could put it in their bins right now. It would still fit, but eventually it won't. The big paper stuff, the big art things that they make, all those types of things, they go in. This is my daughter's. My son's obviously has more in it because he's older. That stuff goes in there and I store them in my closet, just kind of like slide them in. Easy peasy. Okay, so that's super simple way to kind of manage the oversized stuff. I actually need to label these. I know which one's which just by looking at them, but I will be using my little label maker to add to this. It's that same material of the bags that I talk about all the time that I really like for storing all the things. So let's see. I just added a card. I need something for giant sticker pads. Yes, tons of teachers use these types of bags all the time too. Or like homeschoolers, anybody that has like bulletin board stuff or, you know, really big things. But it's great to store our kids' oversized memories as well. Okay, while we're on the school subject, I want to show you 3 books that I love. So at the end of every year, I don't wait until the last week of the year because I try to be kind to our teachers. So like 4 weeks or so before the end of the year, I write a note to the teacher and I ask them to please sign a book that I've had every single one of my kids' teachers sign since they were in the 1-year-old class. If you like this idea and you haven't started it and your kid's 3 or 10 or what, don't worry. Just start it now. Like, it's fine. If it's important to you, just start it now. I cherish, again, it might be for me as much as for them, but at least for now, I cherish reading the notes that these teachers so thoughtfully write on a random page of the book to my kids each year. So again, I give them plenty of time so they're not in the mad dash of the last year or the last week of the year. And here are 3 books I love for this. The first one that I'll show you is, this one is Joanna Gaines' book, if you know who she is, and it's 40% off right now. And whether you do it for this reason or another, I cannot recommend this book enough. I'm actually going to order a second one, and I'm going to give these to my kids for Valentine's Day. So The World Needs Who You Were Made to Be. It's a highly inclusive book. It has a lot of different really great illustrations on it, but it just talks about how, we're one of a kind The world needs who we were made to be. So this would be like a beautiful book to have, you know, if that made sense for you to have your teacher or caregiver write in on an annual basis a little note to your child about the year. Like I said, if for no other reason, I would get this book. It's a beautifully illustrated book with a really great message. So that's this one. The other two that I really like for this purpose and just like in general are Wherever You Go, I Want You to Know. So another really phenomenal book for, which is also illustrative inclusive, which I find to be incredibly important in our literature. Very well written. So it's about dreaming of the future, the things we'll do, the places we'll go, the people we'll meet. This is another really great option. And then I've talked about this book many times before. I had a dear friend give this to me. You can see that it is inscribed. When I was pregnant with my daughter, it like gets me teary just thinking about it. And again, it's talking about, you know, this is the first time there's ever been a you and all of the wonderful things that you will be. So again, it's a beautiful book. Very well illustrated. I never know how to show you guys these books on here. Can you see them? So 3 options if that idea makes sense for you, or if you just want to continue to expand your library with some really great books. Okay, so that's kind of the school side of things. Now I'm extra. Okay, we know this to be true. If you follow along on Instagram, and hopefully you're going to click the little follow button here on Amazon Live, I also like to do something that Gretchen Rubin, who wrote The Happiness Project, I read her book 10 plus years ago because I've been doing this for, how am I doing this? I think I've been doing it for 11 years. So in this cabinet over here, I'm just going to show you because I want you to see how I do this. I know it's not great. Forgive all the stuff. Like this is my real life. This is my real life office. Okay, but in this cabinet over here, there are 3 boxes. I'm obviously going to pull them out and show you, but this is how I store them. I store them each on a shelf because I have the room to do it with the lid off. This box, this is mine. I have one of these for the last 10 years. So I actually noticed that I have not yet used my label maker to label this, but this would say 2022 on it. That I store them all up in each of our closets. And what I put in here are like, this is a note from my mom from this past Christmas. I was gonna file, this is a note that my son wrote me that says, "Love you, Mom," and has like a really beautiful little message to me in it. It goes in here. This is my memory box for the year. I love having a dedicated place where that stuff goes. And I like these boxes that I have on here. Let me see if they're highlighted. I put the 3 that like I have. I love having these are nicer storage boxes. Okay, you can get like cheaper ones, but I'm asking these to store some of my most precious memories from the year for a lifetime. And so these document storage boxes are meant to do that. So, you know, like just literally anything. Like I have my Mother's Day stuff is in here. Pictures that, like if they do something at school, like this one has memories with my mom, like I put that in here. I like to flip back through this box at times, and I have it for every single year. Well, for me, for the last like 10 or so years. So if they give me a gift of some kind, a card of some time, a memento, a memory, a playbill, anything from that year that you want to remember, it goes in your little memory box. And then you don't have stuff randomly in drawers or piles, or I should save this somewhere, or stuck in your purse or whatever else. You have a place that you know where it goes. It's just, if it's a memory, if something you want to keep, it goes in this box. That's why I leave them literally opened in this shelf so I can easily just run in and drop stuff in as I go. So mine is of this smaller size because I don't have big stuff that I'm usually collecting. My kids, on the other hand, so I'll be switching these out. I got the exact boxes that I've linked for you. I have right here. I will be labeling them with my 2022, and they will be going into, be going into this spot, and those boxes will get closed up and put on top of the closets in all of our respective rooms. So for my kids, I use the bigger size boxes. I might be able to start transitioning them to the smaller ones, but over the years, I've definitely needed the bigger ones. Here's something funny. So my son had stitches this year, and he was adamant that he saved them. So where do I put that stuff? When it piles up and throughout the year, it's like, Mom, I want to save my stitches. They go in here. He wanted his blood pressure cuff. We save that in here. Now, here's what I will tell you. If these boxes are getting crazy full, like let's say it's the middle of the year and I have, I just have no ability to manage what I'm putting in here. I'm throwing way too much stuff in here. My rule is if it doesn't fit in the box, we don't save it. Now, of course, you may find like an exception to this rule. But if throughout the year it's getting way too overstuffed, then I force myself to go through it and to weed things out, get rid of some things, because this is the memory box for the year. So that my son has that size and my daughter has this size. I will be packaging these up and starting their new ones for the next year. Does anybody do that? Do you all know who Gretchen Rubin is from the Happiness Project? I should have linked her book here. She's fantastic. And I read that book so long ago. But that was one of the things that she recommended to do. So you always have a place for those types of things and aren't finding them randomly throughout your house as you go. Anybody have any questions about that? Let me see what, Jill, we have wonderful things you will be, and I can't read it without crying. I would say that's going to happen for all three of those books that I just shared. They're beautiful books that are, like I said, whether you decide to have somebody, write a note in it or not, it's a lovely book to have in your home library, all three of them. So that's literally all I wanted to talk to you guys about on today's live. Oh, no, it isn't. Medical binders. How could I possibly forget that I need to talk to you about medical binders? Okay, so we talked about school, and we talked about papers that come into your house on the daily, how to manage those. We talked about school storage and just setting yourself up for success with a system. It can be simple and easy. One thing I didn't tell you about this, that I don't know that it's, that revolutionary. So some people, I'll be real honest with you like I always am. When I started with my kids in school, I printed one of these lovely little guys out. A little picture, a little summary of what happened in the year. Guess how long this lasted? My daughter has none of these. I think I made it through like 3 years with Jake with these. But if you really would like to show off, print something like this or create something like this and stick it into your folder. You could even, the way that I do it is I just put all of the school pictures in the very front of the folder, and that's the level of organization that I have within these. If you would like to level up, feel free. But that's what I do. That's all. I also try to put systems in place that I can actually maintain and not feel like crap about when I don't. So these little guys were causing me so much stress that I wasn't filling them out, and I was behind on it and I was forgetting. I just stopped doing them. I just was like, that's enough. I don't need that mess in my life. These are systems that I can maintain. So that's why I use them. All right, that goes in there. I'll keep everything nice and tidy and ready to go. Okay, let's talk medical binders. So we should be good on all of that stuff. We talked about mementos for the year, school. Everybody good? If you have questions, I'm over on Amazon Live if you're watching on Instagram, so come join there. You can find the link in stories, just X out of live and come to stories. And I can see your comments here over on Amazon Live. Emily, such a sweet idea. I love it. I love these. Obviously, I love all this stuff because I do it. This is my real life. Okay, medical binders is the other thing that I wanted to share with you. And actually, we can just turn the camera because they're right over here. Let's see if we can. Oh gosh, sorry. Everybody's just getting thrown around in here. Okay, so my medical binders, what does that mean? Listen, I know everything is electronic these days. I understand that that is the way of the world and it's what everybody, wants to be doing. And you're going to get a lot of things electronically. Maybe you have like a health hub or some kind of medical hub where things go. But when you're raising children, every time you go to an appointment, you get something. I mean, almost every time. You get a printout of something, you get a chart of the milestones that has outdated car seat information, but you get something. What are you supposed to do with that? Now, you could stick it in your like memento box if you wanted to. But what I have found that has literally been a game changer for me with keeping track of my kids, like just their health and medical records, is I use one of these are called like presentation notebooks. I use one of these. This one is a 60 count one. I think I put a 24 count one on there too. I use one of these, and like this is my daughter and her birthday, which I will cover up. But this is from literally her first appointment ever. And it's got the notes in it and the date and like her weight and height and all those types of things. And then everything that we've done since her little date of birth, when she had her ear tubes, I have that in here. Not only is this like, okay, Michelle, why do you have to save these things? You know why I save them? Because on anything else that we do, it's like, when was the first time she walked? What was her weight at age 6 months? Did she have ear tube surgery? When was it? Then I just quickly go back and I'm able to reference it in here. If you have a medically complex child, if you have a disabled child, these can also be extremely valuable because oftentimes we're being sent to specialists and they will say, well, what happened here? What happened there? And you maybe would have to book a secondary appointment to come back with that information. No, not me. I'm like, hold on, I have that information right here at my fingertips. What happened with XYZ at this appointment? Let me go back and look. So at every doctor's appointment, I keep a piece of paper, I jot down my notes, I slide it into one of the page protectors here, and I truly can just easily go back and reference anything I need to, either for filling things out, talking to doctors, talking to specialists, just keeping a record of the things that are important to me. I also do this for myself now, guys. I did not do it. And I was like, okay, I have all these things organized for my children, like go me. And then I turned 40 and I had to get mammograms, right? And I remember when I went in there the first time, they were asking me all these specific questions and I had no idea what the answers were. I needed my medical binder. So I have created one for myself as well to kind of keep track of, the things I'm going to, how often I'm going, what the results were. And yes, I have the electronic records as well. So if I'm able to easily pull things up that way, great. But if you're going to get a hard copy of something anyways, I find being able to log it and file it in here has just saved me so many times at various doctor's appointments, especially with my kids. So what is Caleb, by far my favorite thing I've ever learned from you, besides car seat stuff. I have 2 of them filled with my son's records as well as one for myself. Yay! I really do think it's like a major game changer. It has been for me and my family, and in working with my son who has some special needs and all the various appointments that we go to. So I love having it, and I hope that system, along with the other ones that I've shared with you, will, kind of give you some ideas for how to set up managing the keepsakes and the documents and all of the papers that come in and out of your household. So if you have any other questions, I'm happy to answer them here. I appreciate if you've been able to join live. Super grateful that you're here. I hope you will follow along. And if you're watching the replay, I hope this has been helpful too. It's really why I did this, so that we can link back to what these storage and organization systems are, because people ask on Instagram all the time. So thanks to my Instagram friends for joining. I'm gonna hop off here. And then for any of my Amazon friends that are here, anything else that you guys have questions on, I will hang on for a couple of minutes and make sure that I didn't not click on anything, because I often do that. But I think we covered it all. I'm going to finish labeling my final few things, get my 2022 or 2023 boxes ready to go and set them up for the year. And I'll be on the move. Thank you guys for being here. Bye.